Everybody was laughing at old Boopy up there, and the harder they laughed, the more I wished it was me. I wanted to be funny like that, and dance and sing, and wear a white tie and white gloves and white lips and shoeshine face darker than the colored people. "Dad," I said again. He was asleep like Wayne, like it was Sunday and we were in church. He opened his eyes and I asked him once more. "Hush, Dewey," he said. I let them borrow it. They needed it for Boopy's routine. Boopy dropped down on one knee about then. A fat man came on stage and stepped his shoe on the slanted footrest on top of the kit so Boopy could buff it with a shine rag. That was my job on Sunday mornings, shining my dad's shoes and then my own shoes before we went to Sunday school. Wayne had to do his own. Boopy finally quit singing and buffing. It was the end of the Chattanooga Shoeshine Boy, and him and the fat guy danced off the stage. Only as soon as they disappeared, they ran back with all the other men in their minstrel show costumes, more fat men in black suits and black painted faces, until they stopped and spread their arms out and sang really fast out of their big white lips. "Swanee, how I love you, my dear old Swanee. I'd give the world to be among the folks in Dixie even now." After that, it was Mr. Bones and Mr. Interloculator, with colored faces like the rest of the others. Mr. Bones looked like the choir director at our church. Mr. Interloculator looked like Boopy's dad.
"Mr. Bones?" "Why, yes, Mr. Interloculator. Did I hear correctly that you asked your wife if she believed in the hereafter?" "'Deed I did, Mr. Interloculator. 'Deed I did." "And why come you did such a thing as that, Mr. Bones?" "Well, you see, Mr. Interloculator, it happened this-a-way. I comes home and I says to my wife, 'Wife, does you believe in the hereafter?' And she says, 'What are you talking? You knows I do.' So I says to her, 'That's good, honey, that's mighty good, on account of I is here, and you knows what I is after.'"
I didn't get it exactly, and asked Dad what the heck that was all about. He said he'd explain it later, but he never did. On the way out after the minstrel show, we saw a real colored man, Charlie, the janitor, pushing his mop and bucket in to clean up. My dad said, "Good evening, Charlie." And Charlie said, "How are you, Mr. Turner?" Somebody else walking out behind us said really loud, "Mr. Charlie!" It was Mr. Hollis Ratchford, who ran the produce market downtown under the Skeleton Hotel. He said Charlie's name a couple of more times, like he enjoyed the sound of it. Then he said, "You're the expert, Charlie. What is your assessment on the minstrels this year?" Charlie nodded and worked his mop handle back and forth, as if the answer might come out of the soapy water in his pail, but also as if he'd rather not answer at all. My dad had told me Charlie lost his job at the mine after the strike last year, and Dad helped him to get on at the high school. Charlie looked at Mr. Ratchford's feet. "Yes, sir," he finally said, still nodding. "I believe the jury coming in with a guilty verdict on that one, Mr. Ratchford. The gentlemen of the Rotary Club might have outcolored the colored folk tonight." Mr. Ratchford laughed and slapped Charlie on the shoulder and gave him $1. Then he repeated what Charlie said to everybody else all the way down the stairs, laughing every time, and I heard him until we got outside, where there was a bunch of people looking up at something on the roof and laughing too. Me and Dad and Wayne stepped farther away toward First Street, and then we saw it. An old wood outhouse with a crescent moon somebody must have hauled up on top of the high school. There was a sign on the door, but the words were too small to read from where we were. The high school boys were always doing funny stuff like that. Wayne told me that the seniors caught every 7th grader during the first month of school, all the boys, and held them down, pulled up their shirts, and gave them red bellies, which I was very nervous about, and which was why I didn't want to start the 7th grade. I wished we had a junior high at Sand Mountain, but I guess the town was too small for something like that. After a while, we went home and told my mom. She said, "Oh, for goodness sake, what's wrong with these people?" The way she said it made me think she didn't just mean why would they haul an outhouse on top of the high school. They had a picture of the outhouse in the Sand Mountain Citizen a couple of days later, which was the only newspaper we got except for the Sunday Tampa Tribune my dad bought so he could sleep with it over his face while he watched football on TV after church. The sign wasn't in the picture, though. Wayne, who was going into 8th grade that year, told me it had said,